Over the past few days, if you have scrolled through Twitter, Instagram, or the usual TV primetime noise, you would think Mumbai was under siege. You would think lakhs of angry protesters had stormed every street corner, hijacked the city, paralyzed businesses, and left millions stranded like helpless hostages. But here is the inconvenient truth: none of that really happened. What actually happened was far smaller, far more localized, and far more manageable than the exaggerated picture some journalists, social media influencers, and urban elites painted. And this difference between fact and narrative is exactly what we need to talk about today. Because the way these stories get told reveals something deeper, not just about protests, but about privilege, class bias, and whose voices get to define reality in this city. The numbers don't lie. Between 35,000 to 45,000 protesters gathered over 4 days in Mumbai. Big numbers, yes. Serious, yes. But let's not pretend this was some tsunami of humanity that drowned Mumbai. They were in lakhs? No. Exaggeration, plain and simple. The protesters brought around 650 vehicles, mostly tempos and trucks. Significant, sure, but in a city where over 3 million vehicles hit the road daily, let's not kid ourselves, that's a drop in the ocean. The police deployed 1500 plus personnel. Sounds heavy, but again, not unusual. Every Ganesh festival, every cricket match at Wankhede, every big ticket Bollywood event sees similar deployments. And geographically, the so-called paralysis was limited to 2-3 square kilometers in South Mumbai. Azad Maidan, CSMT, Flora Fountain, Marine Drive, and the High Court Zone. That's it. Out of Mumbai's 603 square kilometers, over 95% of the city carried on with its life. Suburbs did not shut down, Andheri did not stop, nor did Ghatkopar or Dadar or Bandra. But you wouldn't know this if you only listened to some TV anchors screaming, "City under siege." Yes, businesses in South Mumbai took a hit. Retailers in Crawford Market, Zaveri Bazaar, and Nariman Point saw sales drop. Restaurants at CR2 Mall reported 75% lower footfall. Traders screamed, crippling losses. But pause. 2 days of disruption does not equal citywide economic collapse. Dadar market was open, Bandra shops were open, Thane malls were open. The stock exchange, despite some noise outside, traded as usual. Mumbai airport did not stop. Mumbai port did not stop. Compare this to monsoons, when a single day of heavy rain shuts down trains, empties offices, and kills business citywide. Or compare it to Ganesh Chaturthi, where road closures and diversions happen across weeks. Strangely, those disruptions are celebrated. This one, condemned. Why? Because this time the disruption came from rural Maharashtra entering elite South Mumbai's backyard. Let's talk trains, buses, and roads. Local trains were delayed, 15 to 20 minutes at worst. Anyone who commutes in Mumbai knows that's practically routine during rush hour. Trains ran, metro ran, intercity services ran. Buses were diverted, some routes cut, but best kept running. Traffic slowed in South Mumbai, yes, but diversions were announced and alternatives existed. So let's stop calling this Mumbai paralyzed. That language insults the intelligence of every Mumbaikar who navigates worse every single monsoon. Now the Bombay High Court did use strong words. Mumbai literally paralyzed, city under siege, and yes, the protesters did step beyond Azad Maidan. They shouted slogans near the High Court, they cooked on roads, they camped in areas they weren't supposed to. But let's be precise, the court did not accuse them of terrorism. It did not say violence was out of control. It did not say hospitals were blocked or lives endangered. It said restrictions were violated and disruptions were serious. It gave a deadline for voluntary compliance, not a green light for a police crackdown. The police meanwhile handled 45,000 people with remarkable restraint. One violence incident in Juhu across 4 days. That's it. Compare that to how political rallies often spiral. Here, the crowd dispersed when the deadline came. Here is where the rot sets in. The hostage narrative did not start with facts. It started with voices amplified beyond proportion. A traders' federation leader declared Mumbai feels hijacked. Columnists like Shobha Day cried that women were being terrorized in their cars. Social media influencers posted shaky videos of traffic jams with captions like "This city has collapsed." What they did not post: videos of trains running, markets open in other parts, schools functioning in other parts. daily life carrying on in 95% of the city, and TV picked it up. Words like hijack, siege, hostage, words usually reserved for terrorists, were thrown at farmers, students, and villagers demanding quota rights. That framing wasn't accidental, it was designed to delegitimize the protest itself. Here is the thing, Mumbai has always lived with disruptions. Ganeshotsav shuts roads every year. We embrace it. Cricket matches create human tsunamis on Marine Drive. We celebrate it. Monsoon floods paralyze the city every season. We sigh and blame the BMC. But when rural Maharashtra brings its anger and desperation to Azad Maidan, suddenly words like hostage appear. Suddenly elites cry foul. Suddenly journalists discover their traffic outrage. It's not about inconvenience, it's about who is allowed to inconvenience Mumbai. When it's gods, celebrities or billionaires, it's acceptable. When it's farmers and rural communities, it's intolerable. Let's flip the script. Who really holds Mumbai hostage? Is it a few thousand villagers camping in Azad Maidan for 4 days? Or is it the system that has kept farmers economically strangled for decades? Think about it. Agriculture feeds Mumbai, yet farmers face falling incomes, water and electricity divergence to urban areas, and systematic neglect. Their kids migrate to Mumbai for low-wage jobs because the villages are drying up. And when they march here, when they sit in the heart of the financial capital asking for dignity, the response from the elite is, "You are hijacking our city." That's not just arrogance, that's moral blindness. The truth is, farmers have been held hostage far longer by policies, by politicians, by indifference. This isn't the first time. In 2011, Anna Hazare's anti-corruption protest occupied Azad Maidan for weeks. No one screamed hostage. TV cameras camped there, cheering it on. In 2018, tens of thousands of farmers walked into Mumbai. Same routes, same disruptions. Media called it historic, inspiring, peaceful democracy in action. So what changed? The class lens. In 2011, it was middle-class urban anger. In 2018, it was sympathetic rural suffering. In 2025, with elites tired of quota politics and irritated by traffic, the same actions are suddenly terrorizing the city. Look closely at who pushed the hostage narrative. Urban columnists, business leaders, South Mumbai traders, Instagram handles run by professionals and influencers. Notice who did not. The suburban commuters who actually bore the brunt. The daily wage workers still making it to their sites. The domestic workers, drivers, vendors, they know inconvenience, they know resilience. They know what being truly hostage to a system feels like. The language of siege comes from those who have rarely faced siege in their lives. At the end of the day, here is the balance sheet. Yes, the protest caused inconvenience. Yes, businesses in South Mumbai lost sales. Yes, roads clogged. But no, Mumbai was not paralyzed. No, the city was not hijacked. No, Mumbaikars were not hostages. The crisis was manufactured in headlines and hashtags, not on the ground. The anger was directed more at who was protesting, rural Maharashtra. And that tells us something ugly about our society. The divide between those who eat and those who feed, between the elite who writes narratives and the rural poor who live realities. So let's call this what it is. The real hostage situation isn't Mumbai traffic for 4 days. It's farmers trapped in an economy that doesn't value them. It's rural Maharashtra chained by debt, drought, and neglect. What happened at Azad Maidan wasn't a siege, it was a cry for dignity. And the fact that the first instinct of some elites was to paint it as terrorism, that reveals more about their prejudice than about the protesters. Mumbai wasn't held hostage. Mumbai was forced to look in the mirror. And maybe that's the most uncomfortable disruption of all.